You bad girl? Yeah? Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I am finally back in Colorado and we are pulling up to the barn as we speak. We're meeting the farrier here and baby's gonna be getting 2 hind shoes with a 2-inch wedge. She's had a couple of lameness issues that I'll go over further in depth, but let's go ahead and meet the farrier and get some shoes on baby. Baby! Baby!
She's like, it's really green here.
Baby! I know you can hear me. She don't care.
She's like, nah, it's green. I'm eating.
Baby!
What a stinker.
You bad girl? Yeah? Yeah? Are you a yucky girl? are back from the ranch, and I hope you guys enjoyed that little segment of baby getting shoes. They are her first pair of shoes, and we did end up doing a full 4 set versus just the 2 hind shoes. So to go further in depth with what's been going on with baby, I was really hoping that I wasn't gonna have any soundness issues with her while I was deployed, but you know, Murphy's Law happens when you leave. Something bad usually happens. So I did have a leaser who was riding baby about 3 times a week, and then she started to become lame, and so her lameness symptoms include she was kind of like peg-legged walking. She had a hard time kicking up into the canter, and so she would trip over herself, and she wouldn't really extend very far in the trot, so she was having a hard time just being ridden basically and being worked. So at first we thought she had hock issues, and that she would need hock injections, which I'm glad she doesn't yet. You know, she's a 5-year-old mare. She's so young. It was kind of heartbreaking for me to, you know, leave such a sound, easygoing, easy keeper of a horse, you know, while I deployed, and then while I was over there having to hear different sides of, oh, she's lame, you know, this and that. So from the hock issues, I had those x-rays, everything came back normal, no issues there. So then we thought maybe, well, because she's just randomly lame and is having a hard time with, you know, muscling up and all that, we suspected that she is a PSSM horse. And PSSM, it's kind of like a, well, there's different types of PSSM, but the main or the most common PSSM is like type 1 and type 2, which is kind of like they have to be put on a low carb, low starch, high fat, high protein diet because their bodies can't use the sugars and the carbs very well, and so their muscles get stiff and their body can't process the insulin very well, which causes them to be randomly lame and just have all sorts of different issues that could look like something else, such as the hock issues, when really it's just one huge lameness diagnosis that has so many different symptoms kind of disguised under the PSSM. At the moment, she's on a PSSM diet, so she's on a low starch, low sugar diet and a high fat, high protein diet, and she has a couple of supplements, sorry, I can't think of the word supplements that are added to her feed that kind of help loosen up her muscles and all that. So that's what she's on right now. We don't suspect it is PSSM. I did have her tested for type 1 and it came back negative. To test for type 2 through 5 and the other PX genes, they would have to have a muscle biopsy, and it's kind of an invasive, expensive procedure to go through to even test for the other types. So at the moment, I'm not going to test for those other types just because I don't really want, I'm kind of, you know, hesitant on the whole muscle biopsy procedure. I had a lameness specialist come out to do a lameness test on her, and he was able to figure out what it was super quick. And he said, well, it's a stifle issue. She has upward fixation of the patella, meaning she's having a harder time unlocking those joints. So in the horse's legs, they have their ligaments and their joints lock. so that when they sleep, you know, they can sleep standing up, their back legs lock. Or she is having a hard time unlocking her legs. So he said, well, we'll go in and we'll snip those ligaments, and since we're gonna do one, we might as well do the other one. And I was like, okay. But after doing research on the upward fixation of the patella, I read that if they have shoes put on, corrective shoes put on, and then their hind end gets muscled up, that they could possibly not even need surgery. And surgery is kind of like a severe case scenario. And when he said that she would need surgery, I kind of thought, you know, is she at a severe case scenario? Which is, you know, when I'm not there in person, it's kind of hard to, you know, trust and believe all these different things that they were telling me and that they were diagnosing her with. So today we did get the shoes put on. She has a 2-inch wedge and padding in the back hoofs and just regular shoes in the front. After putting the shoes on, she was sound. She was trotting out nice. She felt nice riding, and so we're hoping that the shoes will help the issue, and then I can muscle up her hind end so that her stifles aren't weak, or the whole stifle patella area isn't weak. So that's what we're going to be working on. I haven't scheduled the surgery. I'm going to wait to see if we even need to do that, but in the meantime we're just going to be muscling her up and hoping that these shoes help her. But yeah, it's kind of hard to be away and hope that everything would stay the same, and it's kind of hard to hear all these different, you know, diagnoses of what's wrong with her, and oh, she's gonna need hock injections for the rest of her life. You know, owning horses isn't cheap. It is very expensive, and you know, I spent money on vet bills and all this, you know, lameness issues while I was deployed that I did not think that I would have to take care of, because she was such a sound, easy horse. Like, I rode her every single day for at least 2 hours a day, and all of a sudden I leave on deployment and this horse can barely be ridden 2 times a week. On top of that, she's also used to getting away with things and having a bad, lazy attitude. Some of this attitude problems that I noticed was that she pulls her hoofs away when I'm trying to pick them out, or she tried to reach over and bite me when I was putting on her saddle, or she, you know, tried to buck when I got on her. She tried to walk away when I was trying to get on her, and just attitude problems that she never did with me. But since she had a less experienced leaser, you know, who wouldn't correct her or, you know, fix the issue, she just kind of like, you know, the horse, okay, we won't do that, you know. Which horses, when they get away with something, one thing, they're gonna get away with it every single time until they're corrected. So we've got some behavioral issues to work through, and you know, she's a 5-year-old horse, so she's in that adolescent stage of, you know, I don't have to listen, I don't have to work, you know, I'm gonna throw a fit and I'm gonna rear up, or I'm gonna buck because I don't want to work, or I'm gonna kick at you because I don't want to work. Like when I was putting on her bitless bridle, she pulled her head away as if, you know, and like smacked her head against the stall, and I was like, what are you doing? I haven't even put it on you yet. I barely like put the bridle up over her nose and she freaked out. So it's just like behavioral issues that she's gotten away with being with my leaser. We will have to whoop her back into shape and remind her of her manners, kind of where she's at right now. And I wanted to give you guys an update, and I will be filming a lot more because I am back from deployment. I didn't take any of my cameras with me because, you know, they're nice cameras. I don't want to take them on a deployment with me. So I am back. Welcome back. thank you, I am back. So stay tuned for more videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos.